Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We are talking Mullen Automotives here in this video. I want to give you guys a quick update on what the current situation is with this name, because I know a lot of you guys are invested in this name, and some of us quite heavily. I'm not as invested in this name. I do have had 500 shares. I do have like 20 shares now, so full disclaimer there. Don't have a large position in this, but it's an interesting story for a potential short squeeze. Now, there is some rumors coming out today that the short interest on Mullen is around 242%. Is this true? Is this not true? Where is the short interest actually at? Well, we'll talk about that here in this video. Although you did see a pretty aggressive drop today that I can't make too much sense of. So we're going to talk about those things here in this video and give you guys my overall conclusion. So let's get into it. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, source your comments, questions, or concerns down below in the comment section. So Mullen today was actually quite green for most of the day. You ramped up in pre-market trading today, and even most of the day today, you were sitting, up 2.5%, 3%. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, around 1:20 p.m. today, you started to sell off pretty aggressively, going from about $1.54 per share to a low of $1.38 per share with some, above average volume. Some of these 1-minute candles were, this one was 768,000 shares. Some of them were 500,000 or more. And that's really a lot more volume than what you typically see on Mullen. Now, the stock did bottom at $1.38 and started to recover, closing the day at $1.48 per share, a loss of 2 cents on the day, or 1.33%. Now, I can't find anything specific on what caused this drop. And that's why it's so interesting, because there was no reason for this drop, and this looks like a news-based drop. This looks like, this is, you're chopping back and forth. It's a cheap company. It's going up and down a couple cents at a time. Pretty typical right here. And then just out of nowhere, you started to sell off. Now, let me know down below in the comment section if there is news that I am missing, but I don't really see anything here. But if you do go ahead and take a look at the option chain, you did see an influx of put options today, specifically at that $1.50 strike. And for comparison here, it was pretty large. So you've seen volume on the day, about 4,015 or 4,150 options that were placed on Mullen today. Open interest at 443 options for that same $1.50 put strike. So you did see an influx of options. Maybe that could explain it, since they did kind of drop it down, under 150 at that point. The options could have played a role there. But that was a pretty sizable drop just to be concluded from options. Now, as of the day today, this article came out 7 hours ago. It says Mullen stock alert. Is Mullen's short interest really above 200%? Yes and no, right? No, it's probably not 242%, but yes, it's higher than 9.69% that it says right here. And they try to say Mullen's last reported short interest is 9.69%, not 242%. Although Mullen did just start an investigation into illegal short selling, naked shorting, if you guys want to put the actual name on it, because of the high failure to deliver numbers that they were seeing and the way the share price has been reacting. Because in reality, if you look at the Ortex data and you go to shorts, yeah, I get it. After the 1 for 25 reverse split, the data is going to be weird for a while, guys. Keep that in mind. But the live estimated short interest of free float is 12.32%. That would be very low for a stock that has dropped this much, right? And this would even be lower than the last official reported short interest that we got, which was 18.26%. So this article's wrong. I mean, this Investor Place article, that's why you really can't take things for face value. They try to say their last reported short interest is 9.69%. No, the last reported short interest number for Mullen Automotives is 18.26%. It's right here. This comes directly from the SEC as well as the New York Stock Exchange. So I don't know where the hell they're getting their numbers from. But that's the last number that we knew. Now, this did come out on April 14th. So let's take a gander at where Mullen was on April 14th. We got to zoom in here to do so. April 14th. I mean, the stock closed at $2.50 per share on April 14th. You're telling me that 6% of the float was covered in a time where Mullen dropped, well, let's see. How much did Mullen drop? From April 14th to where we are now, Mullen has dropped 42%. At the low, had dropped about 58% from the last reported short interest day. And you're going to sit here and tell me that shorts were covering on their positions during this time. Absolutely not. Now, can I attest for naked shorts or not? No. But I'll confidently sit here and tell you short interest is higher than 18.26%. Keep in mind, I'm not a financial advisor. Could be wrong here, but 2 and 2, 1 plus 1 equals 2. 1 plus 1 does not equal 3. This is pretty basic, common information that everyone should be able to relate to. So none of these numbers are correct. Like literally nothing on the stock is correct. It's all wrong. And granted, a lot of it is due to the 1 for 25 reverse split that we've seen. And hopefully the numbers will be updated shortly. We should be getting an exchange reported short interest number relatively soon. So I'm looking forward to that one. Now, something interesting on the option chain as well that I am seeing. So for this Friday, the call open interest is at 78.5%. The put open interest at 21.5%. The volume on the day was 54.5% calls, 45.5% puts. Now, if you go to May 19th, you'll see that the open interest is at 62.5% calls, 37.5% puts. So again, weighted towards the call side, not very atypical. But the volume on the day was 89.5. And the put volume was 10.5. So 10.5%. So you're seeing a lot more calls that were placed today for that expiration, for that May 19th expiration. At the same time, the May 26th expiration, completely different. The calls open interest is at 99.89%, the puts at 0.11%, and the volume on the day for the call side at 12.69%. Volume on the put side today, 87%. So you're seeing a very big discrepancy here between May 19th and May 26th, just off of face value here. It looks like, May 26th, you're starting to get a little bit more bearish positioning. Can't draw any conclusions there, but May 19th looks good. May 26th starting to look a little bit more bearish, and the implied volatility on these options are insane as well, guys. 200+%. If you want to trade the options, let me just tell you, go out to 2025 and get the options if you're going to trade options. Now, let's get into the rest of the Ortex data here with Mullen, because you're looking at a short score of 70. This has went up quite a bit recently, meaning closer to 100 the more likely you are, in Ortex's opinion, to actually get a short squeeze. And right now you got about $25 million worth of short positions on Mullen. Who knows if this number is correct or not? Keep in mind these numbers are likely to be way out of whack until these platforms update them. Estimated short interest or free float. Like I said, it was at about 12.32%. 17.5 million shares currently sold short. It looks like about about a million shares were sold short here today. Cost to borrow average of 12.3%. Cost to borrow max at 39.17%. Cost to borrow numbers are starting to spike a little bit more. Cost to borrow minimum at 8.26%. You got about 100,000 shares currently available to be lent out with a cost to borrow fee of about 10%. Now, I want to point out these cost to borrow fees that are jumping today, because that is one thing that is said in this article that basically says if Mullen short interest was really 240%, you would probably see a lot higher cost to borrow fee. And the cost to borrow fee that they mention here in this video is inaccurate as well. They say the cost to borrow fee is currently 7.68% and is only inched higher from the cost to borrow fee of 6.96% on May 3rd, the day before the reverse split. If Mullen actually had a short interest of 242%, the cost to borrow fee would likely be much higher. Now, is there naked shorts going on here? Well, honestly, obviously, I should say, I don't know. And I'm not going to be the first guy to try to sit here and tell you that there is. But based off the short interest numbers that we're seeing, even 18%, and the dramatic sell-off that you have seen recently in the last couple of weeks, more specifically since April 14th, if you don't see that short interest number spike, it is a very real possibility that there are a lot of naked shorts on this trade. And the short interest could be well over 200%. You're starting to get the same weird glitches and rumors about naked shorts, about a cost to borrow rate or a short interest rate that is 200+%, similar to things that we see in AMC and other names that we know were criminally naked shorted. So all in all, I mean, the trade looks better the lower it goes. This is a short-term trade for me. I will reiterate, if the stock does start to rally, that might be your best opportunity just to wait it out and see what happens, and then get into it once something does start to happen. But nonetheless, I think the stock has priced in a lot of bad news recently. It's not going to take a lot of good news, really. It's going to take any good news, and you probably get a very big rally from here, especially if there are naked shorts. They still have to, get out of that position. That's still bullish once a short squeeze happens ultimately, guys. So just my take on it. Again, don't invest based off anything that I say here in these videos, and I've been very clear about this. This is not a long-term investment. This is a trade, right? This is not a long-term investment unless Mullen would need a Hail Mary to become a household name, right? Probably not going to happen. So you want to be very careful on how you are pursuing this trade. Nonetheless, thank you guys for watching. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, source your comments, questions, or concerns down below in the comment section. You guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.